Minutes, I make a motion, we approve the minutes of October 30th.
I'll second that. I was thinking, how the hell's this gonna work? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
That is all I have.
That just about stumped me. No tax roll correction?
No, oh, no, we don't have the tax roll done yet.
That's a sore spot.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Anyway,
Well, I guess we'll recess till Randy shows up.
Semi-prepared. I'm sorry, we're waiting on Kurt.
no, he's not here.
First, you want to glance over? Sure. First sheet is simply carbonite. We're doing the county offsite backup. The yellow scribble down the bottom right side is just a sample page of all county employees, a glimpse. I didn't bother printing off the other 4 pages for you guys, showing that they're good. The second page, highlighted down at the bottom, is the domain controller. Again, just showing that it's current and running great. I did not get, the county also server does in-house backups as well, and I apologize, I didn't print that off. So we do have 2 full backups, in-house and off-site, and they're running great current.
So that should save us against any kind of ransomware or anything like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And to allude to that, the in-house is 5 external drives that's on rotation, so 4 of them are in the treasurer's vault room inside the safe. And then Carbonite does a series of incremental backups as well. So if, God forbid, that should happen, we can roll back, we can download the previous backup version of the software. So, I mean, if we can't fall back to in-house, we have off-site previous versions. So yes, double protected.
So the hard drives that we have in the vault, I mean, if the whole system crashed, we could pop one of those in, and it might be a week. It wouldn't have the information for the last week or 2, but it would get us somewhat close.
We would be down for maybe a day, hours or a day, and not weeks. Because, you know, like with CIC's help on, I mean, we're talking severe damage control, but with CIC's help, we could access the external drive and access the, like say, Word, Excel files for the staff that needs it as we rebuild or fix the server. So with CIC's help, we could restore databases to a different workstation temporarily, where maybe, like say, the head clerk or treasurer could get access. Maybe not everybody. That's something actually I was just thinking about is, you know, role playing. If something like that should happen, how would that play out? But I talked to Hunter, one of my contacts there at CIC a while back, and he indicated, I didn't go down that rabbit trail very far, but he made a comment that, yeah, a database could be restored to a workstation for limited use for a couple users, and, you know, to get back up and running quickly, to not be down for weeks. You know, so if, I don't know, but like your server, the hard drives that your server runs, the RAID array notifies me if any of the 5 drives get sick and they get replaced, so I'm notified of that. Those hard drives, I could have a spare hard drive on site within less than 24 hours.
Now on those hard drives, are they just have the programs on them, or do they actually have like data and stuff that the courthouse?
Excellent question. The first array is a pair of drives. That's the operating system, and the second array is the data. Is all the data. If you typically want to split those out. You don't want like critical updates and patches on. That's for the operating system. You want them kept separate from the data volume. And so that's how that works. So we have 2 for the operating system and 5 for the data. So that's the backups. The next page here, TeamViewer is the program I've been using for over 10 years now. I'm wanting to start to, it seems like the word proactive has become the new motto that all my clients are talking about, and rightly so. Instead of being reactive, it's time to start. So my TeamViewer has these other modules I can purchase. Asset management here on this page, where I can monitor all my clients' hardware to see if it's sick. I can be a little bit more proactive. I can find out if Nita's hard drive is starting to become sick, that I can respond to it before it actually is a crash. The second page talks a little bit more about that on what's called monitoring. This right here, this page right here to me is amazing. Especially the very bottom line called Remote Task Manager. If Nita would call me and say my machine's just running horribly slow, I don't actually have to stop the remote into her machine. I can look at her task manager showing me all the services running, and I can see what's running on high disk usage or high CPU usage and fix it without having to need to step in and take over her mouse and kick her out. That's powerful to me. I'm waiting on a quote back from TeamViewer because I asked for, when we talked about quantity yesterday, I came up with 46. They shot me back a quote. I found out the next bulk discount was at 50 for another 10% off. And obviously, if I give a quote to the clerk and she signs off on it, if we pay the full annual price, which we would, they'll give us another 10% off of that. So I'm waiting on prices still. To give you this includes antivirus, county-wide antivirus. Ransomware protection is another layer. We're using AVG, and it's getting ready to be due up for renewal.
Next year, right?
Is it next year? Okay. Well, the difference of what we're using now is her machine can notify me if there's a problem, but I have to look at every individual machine. I have to look at them all individually. I can't. If I realize that, oh, I forgot to tell her machine to not mess with CIC, I have to go touch them all now, and it's just time consuming. And so, being able to do a central, to be able to make a change, realize I messed up on something of hers, and push it out to the whole entire county. Well, those that would be affected. Certainly the second floor here that all uses CIC. But so the TeamViewer monitoring is a program that would cover all. It would allow me to check all of the county's health, and then is called Endpoint Protection is a new antivirus program, and it does include ransomware protection. If I saw the pricing correctly, it was going to be about $2,000 annually. And so,
And when you're saying there was a break between 48 and 50?
46 to 50.
46, that's laptops,
Machine, it's.
All devices.
all devices.
But now here's a good example. On that 46 quantity, I did not count. We're talking about Nita's laptop here is probably pushing 10 years old. It cannot be upgraded to Windows 10. So eventually she'll need that to be replaced. So I did not. That's a device I missed.
Right.
So
Having a few extra
would
licenses
never hurt.
in there won't hurt.
Absolutely.
So you're gonna get your new laptop?
So we have
Probably
48
next year.
computers in the county.
I counted 46, but again,
Are you counting health, EMS?
Mhm.
You count everybody?
yeah,
Okay.
I went down my list as best as possible. But see, like right now, it just now hit me. Phil just got a new laptop for his truck, and her laptop, there's two I just missed. So saying I got a quote for around $2,000 for all this, for 46 devices. Found out there's a new break at 50, so I mean that gap right there could already be consumed. And I already emailed them yesterday. I wanted to update pricing on paying annual with the 50 count. I'll have you that price today.
Okay.
But I think it was around 2,000. Very powerful feature to. Now, gentlemen, to next year, this time next year. So we're talking about 50 licenses right now. My TeamViewer, with all my clients, I'm monitoring. Well, my TeamViewer, I have 670 devices I can remote into. The more clients I can get to sign up on this program, the more licenses I purchase. So next year, when I go to renew your 50 licenses, if I'm renewing several hundred, there's a new break and I can give you a cheaper price. So I'm giving the same presentation to 2 other courthouses, doctor's offices, seeing how many I can jump on at once. And so, so we've been talking about doing security analysis, security awareness.
Mhm.
And my buddy Paul happens to work over at Ellis with your nephew. So I reached out to Paul last week and was visiting with him, and he's all familiar with how they're doing this. So this company that I've already had a partnership with called Sophos, so they have a full security awareness. So I've already signed up with them for a 30-day trial, unlimited trial. And so starting last night, I don't know how successful it was, but starting last night, with Nita's permission, I'm using Lisa Weber as our first guinea pig. She doesn't know about it, so I don't know, I'm gonna go sneak on her computer when she goes to lunch, I wanna look at it. But, so the only thing I don't know, I sent out my first successful phishing test last night to her and myself. And I purposely went over to this Gmail account that's just a test, and I purposely opened it up, and the monitoring program immediately saw that one of the 2 people had opened the email. And so that's in your report here. It shows on one of these pages.
And so that's a subscription that you have to do?
Yes, sir. And I apologize, I do not have pricing on that just yet.
But I mean, I sure think that would be, I mean, like you say, a proactive.
Oh, yeah.
You can find your employees that are.
Flip your page, gentlemen, to the call right there, what you're looking at. This is the most exciting thing for me. Well, so here's the thing. So we catch a county employee clicking on this email. Well, so what? I mean, you slap their hands. This page right here, you guys could actually make it mandatory that the clients who click on the emails, or everybody, goes through and takes a security awareness training videos. And here, I mean, this is just page 1 of like 10. These are all these thumbnails are videos that they can go through. And so if I send out an email to the deputy clerk that you are now enrolled in, if I select a dozen videos, the program will hound her and let somebody know, like myself, the admin, I can make Nita the admin, and we can be aware that these employees have not gone through and completed. When they watch a 10-minute video, or each thumbnail tells you how long the video is. Mm-hmm. So as they watch this and become aware, it sends back a report to the admins that this employee has successfully watched this video. And so that's proactive to me. That's, rather than just saying, okay, well, so what? They clicked on the email, now what? Now we have to go harp at them. Well, let's enroll them in something.
I don't know, had you talked to Clay about that? It's basically, it'd be where you can send out a fake email, phishing email, and then to all the employees, and then the ones that open it up, it notifies them which employees have opened it up, which sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
We harp on it a lot too.
Yeah. This is fascinating to me. Now, I'll level with you. The technology break I have to overcome is when I sent the test email through their system to my Gmail account, it got flagged in spam in 2 seconds. I have to figure out how what's the point of a test if it doesn't even make it to their inbox?
Yeah.
So that's on me though. I mean, I got to figure that out. Now I'll have to get hold of their tech support. And, I assume I can set me up a legitimate email system where I can send out an email, again, that comes from hotmail.com or Yahoo or something like Gmail, where it legitimately comes through a valid, because the test I sent her and myself came from one of their generated sites, which I'm sure is on everybody's spam hot list.
Yeah.
But I had to go over to my spam and say not spam, move it back to my inbox, and then click and open it up, and then of course this tagged it that it was 50% of the users, which is 2, got opened the email. And it reported it back quickly, but so I have to overcome that. Testing employees does no good if it all lands in their spam and they don't even notice it.
Yeah.
So, and I bet you $1 if I go look at it. I bet she didn't even aware of this. That occurred to me last night when I was sending them out. So I'll get better at that. But But when I saw that they had all these videos that you could make mandatory that the employees will watch, and you would get an email saying that that person has signed, has watched them and signs off on them, I thought that was powerful. So the last page here is in the middle there, it shows the test phishing, and that's what I called it. One email's opened there at the bottom, 2 emails sent 100%, 1 email open 50%, that's mine. And so that's just a summary. The reports, you could overwhelm yourself with reports. They have a ton of reports on what time did they open it and how long were they in it, and this is just a summary report I printed off here to play with. But I can get Nita pricing as we play with this. I have a full month to play with it to see if it's a good fit, and also then check out pricing. The hard part for me is if I can get other clients to sign up for this, and if I can add more licenses, I can get you guys a cheaper quote. So that's the only thing I want to work on that. So, but your county firewall licensing is current. It is rock solid. I tried to print off some reports on that. I'll get Nita some, but your firewall is a strong deterrent, and it's constantly updated. Spam, it has a level of ransomware built into it as well. So the biggest security loophole is your employees, and that's.
So if somebody clicks onto a phishing email or something, then it just basically bypasses.
I'm hoping. I personally would. I don't want to find out. But the AVG antivirus that's on all the machines right now has ransomware protection built into it. Is that Russian roulette? I don't know. If an employee clicks on a bad email, I'm hoping the machine locks up and freezes as AVG clamps down on it. But I've never found that out yet. So it's there. I'm hoping AVG steps in, takes a bullet, and prevents that software from. If it crashes that one workstation because it happened and doesn't spread the server and all of it. That's right. I'll take out the one, but so I'll definitely just keep Nita apprised on all this. If you guys want, I'd be more than happy to meet back up later on and give an update on all this.
Sounds good.
You guys.
What do you think? We'll probably schedule them in on one of our slow days.
Yeah.
You're the only thing on our agenda today.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah. What do you?
you were it.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've had this conversation with several other clients about being more proactive. That seems like that's the new phrase as we head into 2020 is everything is moving so fast. It seems like the scumbags writing the viruses and everything always seems like they're 2 steps ahead of the protection. But at least that's what it seems like. So, spend a little bit of money putting out better software, or I can do centralized monitoring of networks. That is so much more powerful. That TeamViewer thing, I'm excited to play with that. I've been selling AVG for over a decade easy, and see how this will be something I can switch to and at least have centralized monitoring.
Are you concerned about the 93% on your storage?
No, sir. I purposely did that.
Okay.
The storage that we're paying for is extremely valuable real estate, and I don't want it to be. What happens is, as it gets full, it'll go back and delete the old backups. Excellent question. I don't want 75%. I want it to be full all the time.
Now, Randy, the other question is, on motor vehicle, do you monitor, isn't that a state program server?
The driver's license?
Yeah.
Yes.
The tags and all that, that's the state, isn't it?
We're talking the driver's license PC or motor vehicle for Kansas Department of Revenue. There's, when you go in there and take your
Yeah.
driver's license test, that individual computer, yeah, I got my hand slapped by the state when I touched
State
it.
takes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about the tags and property tax?
That's all Mary's computers, and yes, those are all under my
That's under your
protection.
domain.
Yes, sir.
okay.
And as a matter of
So
fact,
that-
and they're all brand new, and so they would be covered by everything we've talked here today. Absolutely. Now, the traffic, I mean, when the ladies sign in to go do movers or covers to get a tag, that's all goes through the state router here in the server room, and that equipment's on them.
Then that's just driver's license.
Yes. Yeah. Now, so you can take the same conversation downstairs to the sheriff's department. I've taken care of all of their equipment, including their, I haven't touched their 911 stuff, but their CGIS, K-CGIS machine that they do, Tom pulls somebody over, looks at the tag, that equipment I take care of. And, now that'll be an excellent question. I'll have to get with Melanda. If they approve this monitoring software, I don't know, I'll have to make sure, even though I'm, fingerprinted and bonded everything with Kansas Highway Patrol, I'll have to make sure that doesn't violate anything if I put my monitoring software on that machine. They may pitch a fit and say, no, absolutely not. Because, whereas if Nita would call me and say, hey, I have a problem, I could just remote in. On that machine, we're talking about the CGIS downstairs, my software's on it, but dispatch has to invite me in.
Yeah.
They have to give me a code so that I don't violate any kind of, and that's fine, I have no problem with that, but the monitoring program, they may pitch a fit. But,
But it wouldn't be a problem just not to monitor that one.
That's
You could do
correct.
everything else.
That's
Well,
correct.
and it'd be technically two of them, because we have the big live scan machine too.
oh, that's right, yeah, the fingerprint.
So we'd have two of those machines. If they pitch a fit, then he would not be able to
Yeah.
monitor. So-
That's right,
Because it's the only two. And the computer machine, or the machine in the booking room is just for the fingerprint machine, is the big one.
that's right.
So when you fingerprint somebody down there in that machine, is
Yes.
it like on TV where 15 minutes you have information back?
I can have a response back to tell me that KBI is accepting my fingerprints within about 10 minutes. As far as a background, whether I request a history, it takes a little bit longer than what it does on TV. I mean, usually within a day or so we get some stuff back. So. But I instantly, if I press transmit and send the fingerprints, it's a big deal. Once it gives me the green light, it's done.
So you don't
transmitted.
use ink anymore?
We do.
Yeah.
We do still use quite a bit of ink for like teacher certificates, adoption stuff, concealed carry stuff. I can do a lot of those on the computer, but it's me and that computer have a moment, and I'm about the only one down there that will sit and work through it, and it's quicker doing sometimes. But if we're booking anybody in, we're using that machine.
So do you actually have to use the ink on the machine, or is it
Nope,
just?
it's all digital scanner.
That's
Turns on.
that's the machine we just recently upgraded and put it online, right? Is that what that gal came down for and we hooked up Ethernet to it?
No, that's my intoxicator machine.
Oh, breathalyzer, I'm sorry, okay,
Yeah.
one machine.
But yeah, I mean, it's simple. It's a scanner about like that with a square in it. You just roll your fingerprints side to side and you can watch it as it does it.
It's like little pads you sign for credit card.
Yeah, except for you don't do any signing here, so.
Amazing.
How's all this sound to you guys? Any questions? I'll continue working with all this and phishing emails. I think that's really cool.
Wasn't it last year you had problems with Pawnee or Edwards?
With emails.
That somebody got in.
Oh, somebody hacked the community room over there. Was an open, free Wi-Fi that was totally isolated from the courthouse. There was no threat to the courthouse, but some little 16-year-old, 17, 18-year-old kid, he got in through that system and then tried to, I guess, blackmail some business or somebody up in Hayes. And so I think I think they treated, he had, you know, a rap sheet, so they might be pumping sunshine to him somewhere, I don't know. But that scared the heck, it was both exciting and scary, because they called in the KBI on that one. Oh, excuse me, FBI. So I'm getting FBI criminal, the criminal cyber security department call on my cell phone, and that made the little hairs on the back of my neck stand up. That was exciting.
He was thinking clean sheets and 3 meals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Close up. See you later. I'm heading
yeah.
upriver.
This female FBI agent, she's asked me all these questions, and when she was all done, she's like, "Have a nice day." I'm like, no. I started asking her a whole bunch of questions. So she's like, "I really gotta go." But that was exciting.
And you said, I'm glad I'm not going anywhere.
Yes.
But you're probably on the radar now and see range.
That's right. Oh no, that was exciting. There was no. The questions was what they posted in a big placard thing the password to get on the Wi-Fi. So that wasn't even, they didn't try to hide that. And again, all you could do is surf the internet through it. That's just this free connection for this community room. And if this kid walked down the hallway, he saw that in 2 seconds, and all he did is go back home. I mean, he lived within a block or two from the courthouse. He actually put up a homebrew antenna on his roof so he could make that distance connection. And so, creative little fart. But,
Too bad he didn't take that towards good use.
that's right. He definitely went to the dark side of the force there. But I'm gonna make Anita happy today. We're cutting over the wildlife. We're
We're
gonna.
gonna make lots of hunters happy today.
There you go. We make a lot of hunters.
Doing what?
They carry guns, don't they?
Yeah.
Not in. My wildlife and parks computer went down, the one that they issued. We went through 2 computers in a week. Because their solution is, well, we'll just send you the. Well, for some reason, I don't know if it's our internet connection or what. So you can go to a web-based program. So we're repurposing one of our old computers to dedicate just to that. Hopefully it'll be better, because he can't do anything on the PDWP computer. He's locked out of everything. So this way, we can hopefully.
And to elaborate on that, they send out an entire point of sale system on the counter with a printer. And like what Edwards County is running is in the clerk's department, they have a spare workstation for one of their part-timers. And that workstation is county property hooked up to their printer. And so to me, it's faster and it's just easier, and they've had 0 problems considering all the headaches that Lisa and Nita have had to put up with. Not to mention, every time it breaks, if I'm on site, I work on it. So there's, the county's getting a bill out of that for my labor, my time. So, yeah, I took Nita's one of her old machines, instead of recycling it, making it into a toaster. I cleaned it all up, and it'll be on the network, but have no access to the server. It'll just strictly be repurposed for printing licenses out. So I've actually been looking forward to that. It'll get set up today, and we'll be able to take that point of sale system and.
It's nicknamed POS,
Yeah.
but that's,
Fitting acronym.
they're supposed to be sending their box, so I can ship that.
You could do a raffle and tell the hunters to get their licenses. The first.
Well, and I called Pratt, because you have to go through Pratt, and they're like, yeah, we'll put a ticket in. I'm like, do you know what weekend is coming up? And this guy was like, no, what?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
The biggest
said-
hunting weekend of the
I
year?
said, it's pheasant and quail
Rocket
season."
science.
Oh my, you probably need this right away.
God.
That's something. I bet pheasant season is a lot bigger than deer season.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
But
famous
I
story.
think we have more deer than we have pheasants.
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the only other place that sells licenses in the county anymore is Ampride and Stafford. So
Right.
we really need to do that.
There's an urban legend in Great Bend.
We'll adjourn.